Suzanna Turner was only 8 years old when poverty and debt sold her childhood. Her family's farming debts had grown so large that her father was left with no choice. The money he had borrowed for fertilizer and seeds was paid back with his daughter. A contract was signed, and Suzanna was handed over to a cotton mill. The debt was cancelled, and the life of a child was mortgaged. Legally, Suzanna belonged to the mill until she turned 18. 10 years of her childhood were written off in the name of machines. The mill owner smiled. Child labor was cheap, and children trapped in debt were the cheapest of all. Suzanna worked 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, operating spinning machines. The work was deadly. Girls' hair was often caught in the machines, ripping their scalps off. They would writhe on the floor until they died, while the machines kept running. The noise was so terrifying that by the age of 10, Suzanna had lost most of her hearing. Cotton dust floated in the air like fog. With every breath, it settled in the lungs, slowly turning the body white from the inside. Most children died from respiratory diseases before the age of 30. Those who survived were deaf, sick, and completely broken. The mill provided housing, a large room where 40 girls slept on wooden beds. They were fed only 2 meals a day: porridge, greasy bones, bread, and molasses, whatever was cheapest. Any girl who complained was beaten by the supervisor. Anyone who tried to escape was captured and brought back, because under the law, she was property until the debt was repaid. And the debt never decreased, it kept growing. Rent, food, clothes, medicine, everything was added to it. By the age of 10, Suzanna owed more than before. In 1901, a photographer documenting child labor in the southern states took Suzanna's picture during a brief maintenance break. She stood barefoot. Shoes were never provided. She wore a torn, undersized dress that had not been changed in 2 years. Cotton dust clung to her hair like premature grayness. Behind her stood the massive, merciless machines. And her face: no childhood, no smile, no hope, only exhaustion, emptiness, and a fate already accepted. This was her life, and it was meant to last forever. The photograph was published in reformist magazines, but mill owners protested loudly. They claimed, these children are learning skills, and they are helping their families. Reformers were labeled outside agitators. Child labor laws were delayed for decades because power belonged to the owners, while poor parents had nothing. Suzanna never reached 18. She died of tuberculosis at the age of 14. 6 years of breathing cotton-filled air had destroyed her lungs. The mill doctor recorded the cause of death as natural causes, and immediately replaced her with another child. Suzanna's family was informed 3 weeks later. When her mother learned that her daughter had died, she was told, Suzanna still owes $47. The debt must be paid before the body can be claimed. The mother never paid. She could not. The mill kept Suzanna's body for 6 months and then buried her in an unmarked grave with other dead children, aged 8 to 16, all killed by cotton dust, machines, and the system of profit. Suzanna's mother spent the rest of her life searching for that grave. She never found it. In 1923, she told a pastor, "I sold my child to pay a debt. I gave her to a mill that worked her to death and buried her where I still do not know she lies. I am her mother, and I was not even given her bones back." This is what poverty does. This is what debt does. It takes your children and gives nothing back. Suzanna's photograph later became a symbol of child labor in the southern states. When federal laws were finally passed in the 1930s, reformers displayed her image and said, "This is Suzanna Turner. Sold at 8 years old. Dead at 14. Buried in an unmarked grave. This is the cruelty we were trying to end." Today, that photograph hangs in the National Labor Museum with the caption, 1893-1907, age 14, died of tuberculosis caused by mill work. Her grave remains unmarked, but her image stands as testimony that she was not forgotten. It is a reminder that America's industrial wealth was built on small bodies, stolen childhoods, and the graves of children who deserved a better life.